stunt to nasty. The reaction that women have when they are rejected by a man who is interested in dating her. You interested in making sexual advances, you interested in getting married, you interested in having kids with you, interested in talking the dichotomous difference between what the general public thinks a man is and what a man actually is, having a woman turn you down. And there is a significant difference between a man turning down a woman and a woman rejecting a man, as I believe women are inherently presumed to be justified in their decision to reject a man. The scare-shaming line extends not just to hypothetical assertions made by people in relation to overarching ideas about saying no, but also to direct encounters about the proposition of dating between those two people who are talking. While the man, if he does, is perceived to be harsh, or as the shaming line goes, scared. The scared-shaming line extends not just to hypothetical assertions made by people in relation to overarching ideas about saying no. So the scared line is used in a clip that was referenced to me recently, which I'll get to in a moment. It's from a TV show. An extension of using shaming lines is also avoiding the frequently visceral reaction that may come with rejection. So you can go on the internet and watch for yourself these types of interactions until you'll be blue in the face. You'll witness a 2-minute and 30-second video of a guy rejecting her and then getting assaulted, so if the script was flipped, the guy would have been the one getting assaulted. It would be considered an assault, misogynistic, and patriarchal if a male were to verbally or physically attack a female. But since the female is the one doing the attacking, it is just considered lunacy. To tell you the truth, I couldn't care less how the reactions are understood. The problem is the hypocrisy and double standards that are being displayed. Because protecting your reputation after turning her down is also an issue, I will also discuss that aspect of the situation. I have no idea who the woman is, and I have no idea if they are dating or having children with her. Nevertheless, I will try to recreate it as accurately as possible without infringing on any copyright. It's a deleted scene, and you can check it out from the description. However, it's not used in the TV show, and it's not canonical because other people interpret his response to her not wanting kids as being motivated by fear. The breakup that resulted from it led to them not being together anymore. So basically, this is how it goes down. There is nothing to be heard. There is nothing that can be fixed. She goes, if you really think the issue with having kids is philosophical, then you're the blind man describing the elephant from here. She leans and caresses him and says, you're scared is that you don't want to do it with me. You don't love me that way. No, Lori. It's a philosophical decision. She goes, if you really think the issue with having kids is philosophical, then you're the blind man describing the elephant from here. It's not about you, and I wouldn't have children with anyone else, so I'll get right to the point. The progression of denying a woman, and this applies to both MGTOW men and non-MGTOW men, as often as one of my viewers, commenters, emailers, and supporters sent me this video clip, which put it from stun to nasty. Before he did this, he told me that your shaming line series is effective. I'd forgotten how quickly stun turns into nasty, but it's a powerful defense against female blowback. I'd forgotten how quickly stun turns into nasty when you decline a woman's offer of sexual activity, or at least the kind of women who openly seek out my personality type. That is another very important factor. However, here is my response, and I have direct and personal experience with the fact that the stun can turn nasty, and I discovered that there might be an apologetic stage in between those 2 points, but it only lasts for a very short period of time, and then after the shaming you receive for being gay, you start to fear that you're being selfish. I found this to be the most common occurrence with regard to whether or not this is a sexual advance on a date, etc. This comes out, and it is a visceral reaction that is especially common amongst women who have been rejected in the past, have a lengthy resume, have abandonment issues, and more specifically have BPD, which is very close to BPD. In this instance, abandonment interpret kindness from men as interest in them. When a man treats a woman with respect but does not make any sexual advance toward her or express any interest in that regard after they have known the woman for a significant amount of time, this is a very significant one that I have written down here. I have no idea if this is happening at work. It could be a coworker, a family friend, or a fellow student. In any case, it typically leads to a response of this kind. The reason that the women respond and ask about something more or something further between the two is because, in her eyes at least, or on the part of the man, delayed furthering of a relationship is often perceived to be out of timidity or insecurity. So she may think that it is upon her shoulders to push the envelope, although ideally it would be better for the man to take the initiative. Since it is not an activity that she would choose to carry out, she runs the risk of deciding that she would rather have the man carry it out, as was mentioned earlier. When I looked into it, I discovered that when this occurs, the anatomy of the situation goes as follows. The question of interest is asked, a response is given, and then she is stunned. She is shaming him. She is potentially vindictive and vengeful, and that is the most important thing. Some people disagree with me on this assertion, but historically speaking, women have generally been the gatekeepers of the sexual marketplace, and men are sat out into the coliseum of life. That sums up the majority of a man's life right there. It's a simulated gladiator for guys to compete in, and they get to show off their different skills. Some are armed with a bow, some with a mace and some with swords, some with axes and some with mace. At the most fundamental level, which is essentially what life is, men are competing with their various unique talents, whatever it is, and then they have to apply what makes them unique and attempt to be one of the last standing, or at least to catch the eye of the onlookers. If you take that into consideration and wrap your head around it, you'll realize that they're trying to differentiate themselves in order to ensure their own survival. I think that there are things in life that you can strive for that are a little bit higher, and that's what we're doing. Or as we know, we're trying to satisfy the hypergamous interest of many people who are living at the primal level, which means that life has become a gladiator match and women are the audience for it. When it comes to the sexual marketplace side of things, they are sitting in the Colosseum evaluating, and it is believed that these women are in the position to make the final decision on who should survive and who should be sent back out to fight another round. And she chooses who she wants out of the group of men who fought for her. So with this knowledge in mind, as she sees men risking their lives for her, she can choose who she wants to be with. As a metaphor, it is assumed that they want the reward because otherwise, in her eyes, they would not have fought the game of life. Therefore, this has a close relationship to something that is already well-known MGTOW meme depicting a man and a woman dozing off in bed together with thought bubbles floating above their heads. The woman appears to be contemplating something. I'm willing to bet that he's planning to have sexual relations with another woman. The man is probably ruminating on a line of reasoning that goes something like this. If plastic dinosaurs are made out of something size plastic, then plastic dinosaurs are made out of real dinosaurs or something outlandish. But you get the point, the way of thinking is very gynocentric here. So it's perceived that when men deny the thing that is believed to be at the center of existence, which is having a woman and pre-procreating with them, it's seen as a threat to the very existence of the universe. If she is the one taking the initiative, they will not comprehend what they believe to be a very dangerous match in the Colosseum between men in which they were hoping to engage in order to get her and end up killing each other. That is why it is so perplexing. But that is also why the disinterested man, Aragorn, who is so capable but is hanging around the prancing pony, is believed to be so desirable she sees him as eligible, and the other thing, which is more intriguing and beneficial than eligible thing, is this unattainable eligible man, the combination of that. However, if he does not accept her challenge, she will not understand the point of competing in the Colosseum because she will not be able to wrap her head around the reason why she will be in the stunned stage. Maybe transition to the stage of apologizing and then often turn to the nasty stage, which is putting you back in the ring. The thing that is never understood is that there could be something more, something intangible that the man is fighting for in that Colosseum worth far more to him than recognition or physical gain. However, the inability to grasp where this vengefulness is coming from prevents one from understanding what this is. The misunderstanding that we are all fighting in our own Colosseum against our own enemies for hypergamy is not where the shame of MGTOW comes from. Rather, the purpose of the fight is to demonstrate what we are capable of doing to ourselves so that we can decide what to do. This is where the shame originates. I've got a story that pertains to this topic that's very pertinent and specific, and normally I'd like to share it with you so that I can help illustrate the response maybe someday. But because I respect your right to privacy, I won't say that, but I will bring up this situation because I believe that shaming and ghosting are linked, and I think that this may happen to people who ghost while they are in plain sight. Even if you take all of the necessary precautions, it could still happen to one of you out there listening. However, for the majority of you, it is not going to happen at all and everything is going to be fine. But the most important thing is to document any of the interactions that take place, and you need to document them regardless of whether or not there are any corresponding text messages sent. Even if you decline the offer of a female, the fact that you sent an apology text could be used against you in a metro sense, so make sure to take a screenshot of it. If you ever even consider the possibility that some kind of predicament might occur, you should take precautions to ensure that you will always be in the company of another trustworthy male. Never be too certain and never assume that simply acting justly will lead to justice. This is, of course, why ghosting is always preferred, but we all know how that can go. So thank you very much for listening today.